welcome. As I said before, welcome to the Medical Center Library, time-saving tips and tricks / introduction to the Medical Center Library. We're just going to go over some brief introductory things about the MCL today. So firstly, there are 2 floors, but due to the pandemic, the bottom floor is the only one open. So we're currently working out of the basement right now. The top floor has no access, which means that our permanent reserves and most of our materials, our reference materials, are unable to be checked out at this time. But that doesn't mean you still can't come into the library between the hours of 8 and 5 on Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, you can email our reference email, which I help manage alongside a few of the librarians, or you can call our service desk, which is in operation from 8 to 5. And any questions can be answered by them or forwarded to one of the librarians who are here. So if you have any questions, please reach out and call. Yes, so as I said before, due to COVID, our permanent reserves will not be circulating. You can still do curbside pickup at Young, I believe. So if you have any need for materials, you can call them. We also have PDFs of things we can send to you, things like that. So we are still sending out materials, obviously, just not permanent reserves or reference materials. So some of the services that we offer, we do literature searching, we do systematic reviews, we have an interlibrary loan service, which I will get into a little bit later. But essentially, if we don't have access to a book or a PDF or any kind of document, you can put in a request for an interlibrary loan, and they will either deliver that material to here, the basement, or to your email if it's like a PDF. We also have data management services. We teach Endnote classes, which is actually something we're going to be doing, I believe, next week, where we're going to talk about Endnote in one of these research workshop sessions. We do orientations for different departments. We have research guides, lib guides. So if your department doesn't have a specific lib guide and you would like us to make one for you, you can reach out to one of the librarians and we can get that started for you. We also do research assistance and research and publishing assistance. So we have a few lib guides for that as well, which I will show you during the live demonstration. But those are just some of our services. We're just here to help. So if y'all need anything, just let us know. Okay, so now I'm going to do the live demonstration. Okay, which screen are you seeing?
The UK Libraries MCL page.
Okay, so if you've never been to the UK Medical Center Library page, here it is. I'm already here, but if you need to get to it from, let's say, a search engine, you can just type in UKY MCL. It's the easiest way to get here. And we're the first one right here. So Medical Center Library, University of Kentucky. This is our homepage. At the top, we have a search bar, so you can search through InfoCat Discovery, which is basically our catalog and our other online offerings. So this is just kind of a catch-all. You can search the library catalog specifically. You can search for journals, databases, research guides, which I will talk about down here, and then our local collections. Our hours are always posted here. So if we're not open a certain day, it would actually say it right here. For hours are different, it would say it right here as well. We have about the Medical Center Library, which is where the contact information is. So if let's say that you didn't memorize the phone number, as I definitely do not have memorized, you can come to this page and it's right here. Our phone's here, as well as the reference email that I discussed, which is always being monitored. So either one is a very good way to contact us. And then our address, which of course, we're in the medical building. So it is a little bit hard to find, but once you figure out how to get here, you can pretty much get here. And then below that, we have some links. So we have contact information for our library liaisons here. So it talks about what that is, and then it gives us the contact information. So if, let's say you're with a specific department and you want a department specific lib guide, you can reach out to one of these people and then we can get that started for you. Okay, so one of the things that I mentioned earlier, one of our services is the Interlibrary Loan service. So to get to there, it's actually under this library links. So it's ILLIAD, Iliad, the document delivery request. So to begin the process for an ILL, you'll need to go to this page. Once you're here and you've never had an ILL account before, you're going to want to click this first time users button. So it just asks for some information. You click here and then you just fill this out. So this is to make sure that the document that you're requesting gets delivered either to your email or to the right place. So you put in your name, your email, that kind of thing, and then you input a username and password. It is not connected to your LinkBlue account, but it can be the same in case that you don't want to change it, so that you just remember your LinkBlue. So once you do that, you'll register for an account and then you'll come down to this link here. So you can't request a document from the first time users link. You'll have to go there. You'll have to go there, fill out the information, and then come down to this link, which you'll click. You'll input your username and password that you just created and then log in. And then there will be this basically long list. But the important thing to note is that on the left side of that page are the different types of materials you can request. So just make sure that when you're requesting a material, you're clicking the right material to input that information. You can also do special instructions at the bottom. So it's a very intuitive system. And then we have people constantly working our ILL system. We have people who are working very hard. So you'll usually get your materials anywhere from a couple of days to at the most 2 weeks, just depending on where the materials are or if anyone else has them and if we can find them. So let's go back to the home page. Okay, so after that, I already showed you the library liaisons, but there's a contact us as well. So it just talks about our different services. So if you need IT information, here's Tim's information. If you need help with circulation, we have Gina. So we have the different people for the different questions as well. So if you're maybe needing an IT specific question or you're not with a department and just want to talk to someone, you can come here. But once again, the library liaisons are on this page too. So this is another place to kind of find the catch-all. So let's see. So let's go back to the medical center library page. All right, so the library links, after that, underneath, we have selected databases. So if you have need to go to Access Medicine, Access Emergency Medicine, LexiComp, PsycInfo, UpToDate, Web of Science, you can go here and click on here, and obviously it will take you there. If you're not on campus, it's going to ask that you input your LinkBlue credentials. Since I'm on campus, I didn't have to do that. But if you're working from a personal laptop or on a VPN or something like that, you're going to have to input your LinkBlue credentials. Another place where we have selected databases is in this intro tab. So right now we're on the restart, which is just, of course, talking about pandemic things. And we have when we're closed. So we're closed on January 18th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Regular hours resume on the 19th. And then we have this intro tab. So the intro tab is really important because it hosts some of our services. So this button right here, the request a literature search. If you have need for a literature search, you can come to our homepage, go to the intro tab, and then click this button. You'll fill out your name, email address, your affiliation, college, and then if you continue on, it's going to ask you a little bit more about your literature search, like the topic, some mesh terms or keywords, and generally what it's for kind of thing. So when you send that off, that will go to the McLib email, and then we will handle your literature search request from there. So this is a really good resource. And then underneath the request a literature search, we have some icons for different databases. We have PubMed, Clinical Key, CINAHL, browsing, which I'm going to discuss a little bit later. And then we have some mobile resources and then Scopus and things like that. So there are some duplicates between the selected databases and these icons. But if you're looking for, let's see, I think it's, yes. Browsing. Yes, browsing is only over here on the home page unless you type it in the databases. So other than that, we have this borrow tab, which isn't super useful right now because of things that are not being checked out. But we also have the guides tab. And then once again, we have more contact information. So there's a varying amount of places you can find our contact information. So if you just remember one, we're good. Okay, so the next important thing is this guides tab. This is our LibGuides, our research guides. We have quite a few already. This is just some of our more prominent ones. We have a few more in our research guides, so if you just search them, they should pop up. But I'm going to show you a couple of these. So one of the most important ones is the Research and Publishing in the Health Sciences Guide. So we're going to go there. This is what it looks like. Most of our guides have a link to the Research Workshop LibGuide, which is where you get the Zoom links to attend these sessions. You can click here and it will take you there. So of course, obviously this one's currently happening, but we have the other ones like the EndNote one that I discussed, the link, and then we have EndNote tutorials as well. Those are all hosted here. And then we have past workshop recordings as well. So if you wanted to watch something from last semester or look at the PowerPoint PDF from last semester, we have all of that hosted here. So this is a really good resource if you want to see the stuff that we've done in the past. But going back to the research guide, so there's different tabs. So we have Elevate, Organize, and Publish Your Research. So if you're looking to, let's say you want to sign up for an ORCID ID, you could go to the Elevate Your Research tab and it will give you instructions on how to do that. We have the research data services that I discussed on the Organize Your Research tab. And then finally, we have things like open access policies, reporting guidelines on the Publish. But where I'm going to take you all now is our accounts to set up page, which I think Breck is going to put in the chat for us. So you all have this reference, but there's quite a few very important resources here. So as I talked about earlier, we have ILL instructions here. So in case you don't want to watch this video again and you need some reference, you can come to this accounts to set up page and it will show you how to do that again, essentially. We have instructions on how to download LibKey Nomad, which is a browser extension that essentially just takes the full text PDF of an article you're looking for and will just bring it to your screen. So if you're looking for full text, you will click the View Now UK button on the right side of the screen, usually if you're using something like PubMed. But if you have LibKey Nomad, you don't have to go through the library catalog. It will just take you to the PDF. So instructions on how to download that extension are here. You're going to have to input things like your university. And then I believe, yeah, that's all you have to do is put in your university. It might ask for your link blue. I'm not sure, it doesn't say, but if it does, obviously just input those credentials and then you will have access. There's Copernio, we have ORCID here as well. So just in case that you don't want to go to the Research and Publishing Elevate page, you can go to this page. And then we have browsing, which is essentially like a database that hosts the journals that we have access to. I have a short video that I'm going to show everyone later about how to open the mobile app, which is how a lot of people like to use it, but we also have the desktop version as well. And then finally, how to set up a MyNCBI PubMed account and a CINAHL account, which is how you make collections in PubMed, how you do saved searches in PubMed, and how you do saved searches in CINAHL. So all of the information is here. Okay, perfect. Okay, the next really important guide that we have is our EndNote guide, which is also on this guides page. It's down here. So we have information on what is EndNote. We have EndNote Help and Resources, which hosts our PDF documents explaining how to download and set up EndNote in the proper way. This one is especially important because it has you input your preferences which is how you would retrieve full text PDFs, essentially from the UK catalog. So if you're trying to download a PDF or find a full text, you can do that, and then it will just pop up in the database, which would not happen if you did not have these preferences set up. We also have exporting and importing references, which are things that are in our tutorials. But if you don't want to watch a tutorial and you just kind of want to learn how to export something from, let's say, Web of Science, the instructions are here for you. I don't believe this is for Macs. I believe this is for Windows, but it's essentially the same process. We have these instructions. And then finally, if you're doing research and you're trying to input citations into a Word document, we have this. So it's called Cite While You Write. If you have any questions about this, you can reference this PDF. But importantly, at the bottom, we have our tutorial videos. So Breck and I, a few months ago, created these videos. So I did the Mac one. It's about 25 to 27 minutes long, and it's introductory EndNote for Mac. Essentially, it's Mac, Windows, EndNote X9. So eventually we'll be updating those and having them work simultaneously. But for now, this is what we have. And then the Windows one, which is about 35 to 37 minutes, I believe. So depending on the platform that you're using and the operating system, you could watch either the Mac or the Windows. If you use it on both systems, you could watch both. But the differences are minute. It's just placement of things. So if you watch one, you've essentially watched the other one as well. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, we have the contact for EndNote Support. So these are all of the people in the different library branches that you can contact for EndNote help. So for us specifically, we have the McLib email here, our reference email, because that's just kind of our catch-all. We answer all kinds of questions on this email. So if you, of course, have any questions at all, not just EndNote, please email us. Okay. And then the next and last guide, let me see. Okay, not working. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. So the last one that I'm going to show you very briefly is our systematic reviews guide. So if you're working on a systematic review, we have information here. We have types of reviews, finding them, the steps, and then data management. But the important button here is the request an SR consult. So we have all of this information, but this is kind of like our request a literature search button. So it just kind of asks you all of this information specifically about systematic reviews. And then it asks how we can help, what to know before you start, and then of course a timeline of how long it typically takes. So if you're thinking about doing one, you can consult this page. It has a lot of really great information alongside just some materials here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that concludes the live demonstration. And we're going to go back to my PowerPoint, and then I'm going to show you all the video. Because I have no way to connect my phone to this computer, I had to screen record the browsing instructions on how to download it onto your mobile device. So I have an iPhone. This is for iPhones, but I believe they also have Android, an app for the Android as well. I'm not sure if it looks that different, but the process is more than likely the same. So Breck is going to put the instructions on how to download the mobile app into the chat. And once you download that, when you open the app, this is what you see. So what you see here are a bunch of different subjects. Before you can look at these subjects, though, you're going to have to sign in. So I actually didn't show that because it showed my link blue password, which I'm sure that no one would do anything bad with, but I kind of wanted to keep that private. So what happens when you go to My Bookshelf is it prompts you for your link blue. You only have to input those credentials once, but then you're going to have to go through a next step. So you input your link blue, and then it asks you to sign up for a browsing account. It does not have to be related to your link blue, but you do have to create a username and password and put your name and email and things like that in there. It will send you an email to whichever email you chose. And then you'll have to click on that email, and then I believe hit the connect button so that it connects your email to your account and then your institution credentials. But once you do that, and those should be in the instructions as well. If not, this video, I'm going to edit it a little bit and overlay some audio on it. And then this will be on the accounts to set up page at some point. But once you have all of that done, you'll be able to freely use the app. So let's see. Okay. So one of the most important things is you have these bookcases. You have 4 of them. You can't have any more than 4, but you can edit them. So on bookcase 1, you see shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3, shelf 4. You can change the titles of those, which I'll show you later. Here I've shown you how it's connected. So here's my browsing account, and here's my UK Libraries credentials, my link blue credentials. So you can see I'm logged in through my link blue. And at the bottom, I'm logged in through the browsing account that I created through this app. So you can actually log out and change your credentials here. I have not done that because obviously I'm the only one using the browsing app on my phone, but just in case, you can do that here on the settings page. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so back to the bookcases. You can add journals to these bookcases. So let's say that you wanted to change this one, you're in the public health field, and you wanted this to be a public health bookcase. So you can change the title of the bookcase to be something like public health, and then you can go into this browsing library tab and find journals. So one of the most important things to note is the difference between these red and blue. They kind of look like a book and a file folder. So the blue are actual journals that we have access to. So if you click this blue one, this public health one, it would take you to the public health journal. But there are these red like file folder looking icons. So if you click them, it will actually take you to a list of subjects underneath. So in this video, what I do is I click the red public health so that it shows us all of the different kinds of subject headings under public health. So I believe I choose epidemiology, yes, and it shows you all kinds of journals under the epidemiology subject heading. I just click the American Journal of Epidemiology, and then as you can see here, it shows you the issue that the most current issue that we have access to. And then you can kind of scroll through the different articles that are in this journal and actually add them to your articles. So you click the blue folder tab and it will add to your articles. And then you can also hit the, let me go back a second. You can hit this button up here, this blue icon with the arrow, and it will add your article to your bookcase. So I've added it to shelf 1, and then I changed the title of shelf 1 to be epidemiology. So if I were doing some research on epidemiology, I would have all of those journals here on my epidemiology shelf. So you can of course do that. Let's say you have epidemiology, and then global health, and then environmental health here. So let's just say you were organizing it like that. That would be how you would keep those collected. And then of course you have 3 other bookcases. So if you were doing, you could do epidemiology as one bookcase and then do different subheadings of epidemiology. It's just kind of however you want to do it. It's highly customizable. It has a great interface and it's very intuitive. So the next really cool thing about this is that you can actually save articles to your articles, my articles tab. So I actually tried this, and then I tried this before I made this video, and I was in my office down here, not connected to the Wi-Fi, which isn't great, wasn't great. So as you can see, the top one says PDF downloaded on this device, but the bottom one says requires internet connection. So we're not going to touch that one right now. We're going to look at the top one, but to add, as I said before, an article to your My Articles, you can hit the blue folder. And then another thing to note is that you can edit your collections of articles. So this one is just general collection. It's the default. I didn't change that, but you can adding this blue plus button and then edit the names of them here. So let's continue. So what I find really cool is that when I clicked on the article, it let me look at the full PDF view of the paper. So here's the abstract. You can do next and previous article, but here is the PDF of that article. Obviously the print is very small, but to manage that, you can go up and click this button up here. So you can email, save, open the PDF, and then yeah, you can open it in Safari. So if you wanted to look at it in Safari, maybe to zoom in, you could click this button. But I thought it was very neat that you can just read the articles from your phone. Small print notwithstanding. But because I was connected to my Link Blue and had my UK credentials, I was able to view the PDF of that no problem, which is why it's so important to have your Link Blue and your browsing account connected. Okay, so that concludes the live demonstration and the video portion of the Introduction to the Medical Center Library. Does anyone have any questions? It's okay. If not, I'll stay on a little longer to answer questions. But of course, if you think of anything at a later date, obviously I've told everyone about the McLib email, which I manage along with a few other librarians. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help, always happy to answer.